Top story here at 6:30, that of a former police officer in Minnesota who became a trusted computer forensics expert who would often testify in cases across the country and across the state and across the country. Now, however, that expert's credentials are under growing scrutiny. Our Paul Blume is learning more about the steps that expert witness has recently taken to protect his credentials and his reputation.
Now, I broke this story last week after learning the Hennepin County Attorney's Office would no longer use Mark Lanterman as an expert in its cases. Lanterman, the former Hopkins police officer and investigator, had built a company from scratch in the high-tech field over the last 20 years. Over the weekend, his own biography was stripped from the company's website. His son explaining to me that was done because the firm is about so much more than just its founder.
I think that this outage is going to last weeks, if not longer.
Mark Lanterman was the go-to expert on cybersecurity, data breaches, and the dark web.
Essentially the Wild West of the internet. It's very difficult for law enforcement to conduct investigations inside of this part of the internet.
Open the door, Winston, babe. Please, open the door.
It was Lanterman who first recovered the video off Winston Boogie Smith's cell phone, capturing Smith's fatal encounter with law enforcement on a parking ramp rooftop in Uptown in 2021.
Winston, open the door.
State investigators initially closed the case without retrieving the key piece of evidence until Lanterman was hired as a civil expert. But last week, the Hennepin County Attorney's Office called into question Lanterman's credentials as an expert.
My work and background have been scrutinized countless times in an adversarial setting. It is the nature of the work that I and the company do. I stand by the truth of my background and credentials.
But the county attorney launched an investigation into at least 9 cases where Lanterman or his firm was used. Prosecutors writing that they have been unable to fully verify Mr. Lanterman's educational and employment background, and the office will not rely on him in pending cases. While the Hennepin County Attorney's Office won't provide specifics here, doubts about Lanterman's background were recently revealed in these federal court filings where attorneys are attempting to strike his expert witness testimony. They claim they could not locate any undergraduate or master's degrees in computer science from the now defunct Uppsala College in New Jersey. Those attorneys also claim Lanterman recently visited a suburban police department just outside Philadelphia, where he worked early in his career. Lanterman allegedly obtained the file, which might shed some light on his educational background, by saying he had a grave heart condition and needed to, quote, get his affairs in order. Questions about his background continued swirling over the weekend after his biography was pulled from the Computer Forensic Services website, the company he himself built over the last 2 decades. Lanterman's son telling the Fox 9 investigators that he made the decision, quote, in an effort to not have this situation distract from the high-quality work the firm performs for its clients. In an emailed response to me on Monday, Mark Lanterman said he agreed with the decision to pull his own biography off the company website, explaining that he does not believe it is permanent. Lanterman also confirming he indeed went to Pennsylvania last month to get his hands on his old police records. He claims it was done to, quote, protect his own personal information, and claims he has since mailed that file back to the police department in Pennsylvania. In the newsroom, Paul Blume, Fox 9.